A date with the unknown awaits you on September 16th after you accidentally release paranormal forces during an overnight island party in Oxenfree. On September 1st, a feast for your eyes and ears as you dial the adrenaline up in Forza Motorsport 5. Along with hundreds of cars and 17 tracks available in the original game, get an additional 10 cars free with the included Top Gear car pack. A date with the unknown awaits you on September 16th after you accidentally release paranormal forces during an overnight island party in Oxenfree. The choices you make while trying to solve this mystery will determine the fate of all involved. Which of the possible endings will you experience? On the Xbox 360, race your speedboats through insane scenarios with gods and dragons in Hydro Thunder Hurricane. With tons of modes, boats, and courses, this arcade racing simulator is the perfect stage to dominate your friends and hone your own racing skills. And then on September 16th, prepare for lots of destruction in Battlefield 3. There's non-stop, heart-pounding action in this classic first-person shooter. Across Europe, the Middle East, and North America, from single-player missions to huge multiplayer battles, the action never stops. To redeem the titles, simply click on the gold area on your Xbox One, your Xbox 360, or even on the web at xbox.com/gameswithgold. Your new games will automatically appear in the ready-to-install section of your Xbox One. With Xbox Live Gold, you are part of the world's premier gaming community.
The Xbox One is a very ambitious console. Microsoft found a way to make a console both comfortable with the past and prepared for the future. With the announcement of the Xbox One X at E3 2017, the future is looking very bright for Microsoft. The console may have been around since 2013, but there are still many features that may have flown under the radar. That's why we've compiled a list of 10 things you didn't know your Xbox One could do. Before we begin, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all of our awesome videos and click that bell to become part of our notification squad. Share your digital games with friends and family. Buying a game digitally is suddenly way more valuable if you're allowed to share it. Two households can share games by setting each other's Xboxes as their home console. By designating an Xbox One your home Xbox, all other accounts on the system gain access to your games even when you're not logged in. That is awesome! Not only will you be able to enjoy all the same games, you'll also be able to save some money in the process. The idea here is that individual users in a family should be able to earn their own achievements and create a unique save file for their account. But gamers are finding a way to take advantage of it. After that, all you need to do is log into your account whenever you want to play your games, and you're all set. If you find another friend willing to set their home...
Hey Xbox fans, mark your calendar and get ready for September's Games with Gold lineup. As always, all 4 games are playable and acquirable on Xbox One and free to those with an active Xbox. Acquirable on Xbox One and free to those with an acquirable on Xbox One and free to those with an active Xbox Live Gold subscription. On September 1st, a feast for your eyes and ears as you dial the adrenaline up in Forza Motorsport 5. Along with hundreds of cars and 17 tracks available in the original game, get an additional 10 cars free with the included Top Gear car pack. A date with the unknown awaits you on September 16th after you accidentally release paranormal forces during an overnight island party in Oxenfree. The choices you make while trying to solve this mystery will determine the fate of all involved. Which of the possible endings will you experience? On the Xbox 360, race your speedboats through insane scenarios with gods and dragons in Hydro Thunder Hurricane. With tons of modes, boats, and courses, this arcade racing simulator is the perfect stage to dominate your friends and hone your own racing skills. And then on September 16th, prepare for lots of destruction in Battlefield 3. There's non-stop, heart-pounding action in this classic first-person shooter. Across Europe, the Middle East, and North America, from single-player missions to huge multiplayer battles, the action never stops. To redeem the titles, simply click on the gold area on your Xbox One, your Xbox 360, or even on the web at xbox.com/gameswithgold. Your new games will automatically appear in the ready-to-install section of your Xbox One. With Xbox Live Gold, you are part of the world's premier gaming community. Titles, simply or even on the web at xbox.com. xbox.com/gameswithgold. Xbox 360 or
greatest Honda Civic ever.
It's once again time for PlayStation Plus versus Xbox Games with Gold, where we take a look at both services' game offerings and decide on which one is better. Both services have some heavy hitters in September, so let's get right into this. As always, let's start off with the PlayStation Plus titles. The big game this month on PlayStation Plus is the PlayStation 4 exclusive Infamous Second Son. Infamous was a great franchise on the PlayStation 3, and it came to the PlayStation 4 early on in its life, and while it was arguably the weakest game in the series, that's not saying much considering all three games were great. Second Son was also a great game. Visually, it's outstanding, some of the particle effects are insane, the world is a blast to explore. The only issue is that some of the content is rather repetitive, and it is on the shorter side, but for the most part, Second Son is a really good open world adventure. It's got an 80 on Metacritic.
Seem to be getting the hang of your new symptoms, right?
Of course, the only downside being that, nope, can't think of anything. This is pretty freaking awesome.
Another pretty solid game for Plus users is Strike Vector EX, which is a multiplayer third and first-person air combat game similar to games such as Crimson Sky, and it's got a feel of Quake 3 and Unreal Tournament to it as well. You've got great dogfights with super-powered aircraft, mech-inspired ships, and there's an okay single-player mode too. Strike Vector EX has a 75 on Metacritic. We've also got two smaller games to round out the list. First up is Hue, a puzzle platformer where you alter the world by changing its background color. You explore a dangerous gray land unearthing colored fragments on a journey finding your missing mother. The game's got a 77 on Metacritic.
Anyway, something went wrong. I turned a strange shade and became invisible. I stayed at home for weeks, watching, waiting, existing on this coloured plane, and I couldn't speak to you, nor interact with objects in the mono world. So I left. I left the university where I hid away the colour tools I had created, just in case I could return. I am writing this letter with coloured ink.
And finally on PlayStation Plus, we've also got Skyforce Anniversary, an old school shoot 'em up that definitely has that nostalgic vibe, and it's a pretty solid inclusion. It's got a 77 on Metacritic as well. So now moving on to Games with Gold, which just like almost every month, you've got a very good lineup. First up, the big game with Games with Gold this month is Forza Motorsport 5 Game of the Year Edition, which Forza has gotten a bit redundant, but every game is good, and for those that aren't big on racing games, you'll be able to play it as a part of your Gold subscription, which is very nice. Forza Motorsport 5 was a launch title for the Xbox One, so you can notice some of the content cutbacks, but it's still a solid game, and the Game of the Year Edition is a nice inclusion. It's got a 79 on Metacritic. Next up, we have Oxenfree, which is a great game. It's a supernatural thriller about a young group of friends who go on a trip. Supernatural beings are introduced and everything goes awry. I won't go too much into it since it's very much a story-driven experience that's light on the gameplay. If you're a fan of the Telltale games, this will be right up your alley. Oxenfree has a 78 on Metacritic, which personally I think is a little underrated.
Yeah, but I mean...
You used to come here a lot as a kid, right? You used to come here a lot as a kid.
Something's wrong.
Next up, for the two Xbox 360 games that are playable through backwards compatibility. First, we have Hydro Thunder Hurricane, which was the fully featured sequel to the original game. It's rocket-powered speedboats blasting through different areas. It's a ton of fun, and for fans of arcade racers, you're gonna enjoy it. It's got a 75 on Metacritic. And finally, the other Xbox 360 title we have is Battlefield 3, which is another nice addition. However, I question the appeal of the game in 2017. This is the Xbox 360 version, which had a lot of technical limitations, and it's an older multiplayer-centric title. Don't get me wrong, you can have some fun with it. The campaign is decent, and the multiplayer will likely receive a jolt after this, but with all the other first-person shooters on the market, I just don't know. It's an inclusion with Games with Gold, so it's not a big deal. Battlefield 3 has an 84 on Metacritic.